So it's been a while. Well, let's check actually. Confidential stuff. It's been a while since I last looked into Zettelkasten. March 30th. It's actually been like more than a week. No, here. So it's been like okay. So it's been 5 days. Um, and yeah, I haven't really used my Zettelkasten at all because I'm still stuck on how I'm going to handle knowledge. I mean, also I've been out, so I haven't like really had the chance to update it anyway. But just generally speaking. I don't feel like I'm ready to proceed with it yet with the system. I need to figure out how to handle a knowledge base. Now, a knowledge base isn't part of my Zettelkasten anyway. Well, at least I don't think it will be. Right now, I'm planning for it to be separate. My Zettelkasten is a thinking tool. My knowledge base is a different, just like knowledge notate, like just notes, right? Just a note base for knowledge as opposed to thoughts. But I don't know how to go about that. So, yep, I got these 3 videos that have me sitting in my browser. Like these tabs have been open for like the past week, and I need to watch them. So we're gonna watch them. Also, Discord. This is a Discord server for Obsidian. They have a thing here called Zettelkasten for knowledge management. Very cool. As I said here, I'm thinking of splitting my knowledge base into a separate system. Blah blah blah. No one really responded. What the hell? Did not mean to do that. Dan, vote you, sir. No one has given their opinion on this yet, and I don't know if they will, but yeah. Anyway, so first of all, actually, let's look at this. Let's see what other knowledge management systems there might be. So because there are different threads here, right? There's Zettelkasten, language learning. Right. I already knew that a Zettelkasten would be useless for language learning, so I really want to see what I can do. Also, what are these? All right, April Fools, something like that. And what's this? Dev tools? Okay. Yeah, I am a Discord developer, by the way. Um, so okay, I'm gonna start by just looking through these to see what is around. Language learning. Okay, so check the pins always. There's nothing pinned. I'm gonna cry. Let's go up then. Jesus, this is locked. Has there been no pins? Okay, this person's setup. They use. I don't know. I mean, I use Anki right now for flashcards for vocabulary, but I wonder if there are other ways I can take notes of the language, like grammar, like points, stuff like that. It'd be good to be able to take notes on that, right? And maybe it can just go into my knowledge base that I'm about to make. But I just wonder if there's anything else I can do for dictionaries like this, right? There's no point. Like it's like I talked in the last video about how you can have your flashcards be your notes, like your note storage system, but it's pretty bad because then you have to like open Anki and do all that. But for like vocabulary, I don't mind opening Anki to like check out my dictionary. Like that's fine. Like putting it into Obsidian would be kind of pointless unless I had a system where I could automatically convert my Obsidian notes to Anki cards, and like then I could really easily edit them and then just like re export them. That could be useful. Not gonna lie. I think to really illustrate this though, I need to open Anki and show you my workflow. Now it's been a while. Just full disclaimer, it might even have logged me out, but hopefully not. Let's see. Also about Anki itself, is Anki open source? Good question actually. Is Anki open source? It is. Okay. But their sync system is not for obvious reasons. Um, but as the software itself, as long as the software itself is open source, it's fine. It's just that my issue with Anki right now is that it uses Python, like for scripting at least. And like like Python scripting is fine, but it can just be a bit slow and glitchy, so not necessarily fully ideal. Uh, okay, so like to show you my Japanese cards, for instance. Here's Yume, which means dream, right? So you have these fields. Well, okay. Well, first of all, here's the card, right?
僕には夢がある。
I've got my sentence here. I've got the keyword in pink, highlighted in pink. I got furigana, for Japanese. If you hover, you get the furigana. So this is boku, and I can see that by I can just hovering over it. And then I can have one, well, in this case I have two audio, because one's from the source,
僕には夢がある
right, Jojo, and one is the text-to-speech voice.
僕には夢がある
Just in case I need to have like, I want to have both, whatever. And then, for the card,
夢
I have the English definition, English translation with the highlighted word. Then I have the keyword there, keyword here, with the furigana revealed, so yume, right? Got the type of word,
夢
the reading as audio. This can be multiple things, so it could be dream, but if it had other meanings and in this context, right? Because these are sentence flashcards, then I would also include those here. And then I have an image just to help keep it nailed in. And especially if they're funny, it makes them more fun to look at and make. So those are my cards, right? And these are the fields. So you got your sentence in Japanese, then you got the furigana, which follows a specific format where you have like these like this kind of markdown format. Whoopsie daisy. Which is fine. And then the sentence audio. So the sentence audio could be mine, but I also use the hypertext to speech extension. So that'd be the first kind of barrier to be exporting this automatically. I mean, at least to fully automate it. I would still have to open Anki myself and then add these myself. Then there's the English sentence, and then these more audio. So again, this would use the hypertext to speech thingy, and then this and an image, right? So it's not too bad, and I might be able to make some kind of program that can export these. The issue is Anki's way of storing cards is really unclear. Like, I can't just like click on this and say show note in File Explorer. Like, I don't know what the format is for how Anki stores notes. Like, Anki already makes it weird to even store this code.
僕には夢がある
Like this HTML code,
夢
this HTML code for determining how this renders. Like to open this, I need to have like a special extension and have Anki open. Like, I can't just open it as a file, which is also really weird. So that makes Anki just a bit harder to kind of use. Full stop. At least as a developer. But yeah, I would definitely. It'd be cool if I could make these flashcards on Obsidian, and then export them to Anki separately. Why? Because then they're just like easier to access. So like I don't need to like open Anki to edit stuff. If I want to like bulk add things, it's a lot easier for me to add them to automate the process of me creating flashcards. If I don't need to access Anki's API, right? If I can just like take the information and just put it in a text format, which then gets converted, then that's a lot more flexible. And then it also takes dependency out of Anki, right? So I can do it with other tools as well, which is also useful because it's easy. Well, it should be too hard to export, like to make a tool that exports to Anki, but it might be harder to do the reverse, where I take my Anki notes and export them to some other format. That would probably be a bit harder. Anyway, I'm gonna look into that some other time. Let's make this public. I just finished recording this video, which I will announce now on the Discord server. See, awesome, and yeah, I got a ping. I'm not gonna read that now. Can't expose myself. So yeah, interesting. So this person uses a table, which makes sense. God damn. And like also because it's Obsidian, like it's a note taking system, I can add extra metadata that isn't part of the note. Like in Anki, I think there might be a note section, but like obviously it's a lot more limited than like Obsidian, where I can just add whatever I want. Like if I wanted to add the source, right, to like of where I got the thing from to Obsidian, it's easy. I can just do that. Whereas for Anki, if I were to do that, I'd probably then want to make it like in the card, like it's quite complicated, right? So that's like another benefit. Okay. Language learning in Obsidian. Okay, so let's watch this video as well. Add it to my list here.
I just built a budgeting app.
What? How?
Base 44. Look, it pulls
What?
all our expenses.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know how I'm gonna add. Let's switch accounts here. So I'm actually on my main. Okay. Okay. And what else is there then? Wait, what was that? Being beached in Netherlands. Okay. Let's see what other threads there are then. Git text git. What is that? For you to explore your own Zettelkasten. Interesting. So this is specifically dedicated to this person's? I'm guessing their name was Git Dex Git at some point. Okay. Let's keep seeing. Keep going. AI. One tool to rule them all. Second brain tool question. LLM. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Right, let's get watching these videos then. So, first of all, 10 essential PKM lessons from using Obsidian. So this is 10 essential PKM lessons from using Obsidian every day for 5+ years. PKM is something knowledge management, I think. PKM is not the gun. PKM note taking. Personal knowledge management. Yeah. So these are quite vague. Not necessarily Zettelkasten. I mean, this one is just 10 tips. This is about how the CEO of Obsidian takes his notes, which is very interesting. And this is another PKM basics video. And then this one is for language learning specifically. So let's see.
All day, every day for over 5. I've been using Obsidian all day, every day for over 5 years now, and I've learned a lot of things the hard way. If I could go back in time, there are 10 things I would tell my younger self that would have saved me countless hours of frustration and helped me get more out of my notes and ideas in my PKM system a lot sooner. Some of these are about Obsidian specifically, but a lot of them are about personal knowledge management in general. And
Okay. I just so sorry. I just saw this Reddit post that was like github.com. Do I have G? Git? No? Okay, whatever. GitHub.com slash OTHD06. Right, well, whatever. That'll do. Someone's written a compiler tutorial with LitChibi. What's LitChibi? It's like Lisp. I have no idea. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Right, let's not.
the
Because
mindset you need to have.
This video is 24 minutes long, so let's not take too long. I've already watched this. Wait.
In order to unlock the creative potential of the notes, first time
Okay.
that I tried Obsidian, I opened the app, instantly felt overwhelmed, and I immediately decided it wasn't for me. I uninstalled the app entirely, and that happened
Bruh.
not once, but actually twice. It just
Bro,
seemed
it's too daunting. Yeah. Why give up so easily? Why you give up so easily, guys?
Way too
Why?
complicated for me to figure out, but that was largely because I honestly wasn't quite sure how I wanted to use it. It was just the shiny new app that everyone was talking about, and it wasn't until I gave it another shot with a specific workflow that I wanted to build. That's the key. That's when it actually stuck.
I have a goal, but I don't know about the workflow yet.
Now, the workflow I wanted to build when I was first starting in Obsidian was a cross-reference library for all my sermon sketch notes. I take these sketch notes of all the messages I hear, and then I knew that if I could build a system that let me see which messages mention which verses, I would be able to use that in my own personal study. Now, the specifics here for this video aren't important, but this one thing is, so make sure you catch this. Building a single useful workflow is what helped me go from this is way too complicated to this is amazing.
So yeah, there are different ways you can use Obsidian. Like there's more there's more that it can be useful for than just knowledge base, right? It can also be used for Zettelkasten, thinking tool. It can be used for keeping track of like this guy did, I guess, like Bible verses for his lectures, like which ones he used there, like to like see the web of it. Like so, there's a lot you can use it for. And one question I have just right now is, should you make a different vault for different workflows, or is there a way to have them all combined in one thing? Because I feel like graph view is one of the most useful features, just like to be able to visualize the connections. But I don't know how configurable it is. Anyway,
The second tip
don't split your vault.
is
Okay.
to not split your vault unless you absolutely need to. People often ask me if I split my notes into separate vaults based on the topics because I use Obsidian for so many things. So for example, I mentioned my cross-reference library previously, which adds tens of thousands of notes to my vault.
Yeah.
But I also have a collection of notes from all the books that I read for the
Interesting.
Bookworm podcast. And on the surface, these two things don't look like they're related. So I get asked all the time if I separate those two inside of Obsidian.
There's a card view. That's cool.
And my answer is an emphatic no. Personally, I believe there's a ton of inspiration to be gleaned by having things all in one vault, where I can make connections across these different domains.
Okay.
That's actually how my own creative journey got started. I started reading a
Yeah, I've no idea. I mean, for like okay, so again, the literature notes, 100%, those should be like accessible to all vaults, because like both my Zettelkasten and my knowledge base will reach to that. I can also see my Zettelkasten referencing my knowledge base. Like if I have a note titled, I don't know, international politics, and then I have a Zettelkasten thought about international politics, I can then link to the knowledge base note in case I forget what international politics is even about, right? For instance. Yeah. So I can see how there could be connections between my Zettelkasten and my knowledge base as well, in which case they should be in the same vault, right?
a lot of productivity books around the same time that I was asked to teach a Bible college class on personal management. And I began to see overlap between the books I was reading and the syllabus that I was using to prepare for the class. And I saw how the principles I was studying were being applied in the
That's cool.
productivity.
Okay.
The third tip is to embrace the idea of atomic notes. Before I switched to Obsidian,
Right.
I was using
Atomic notes.
Rome Research, which basically doesn't have individual notes. There's just these nested bullets, and you can open up any bullet as its own note. Tana is very
Ooh. That's a cool system, isn't it? Although then it forces a hierarchical system where each note comes under another note as opposed to being in a web. So it's cool, but you can just have the web, right? Because like Obsidian is a web. Like each note is a web. Sorry, each note is as a part of the web, and then if you want hierarchical notes, you write multiple things under one note, sections. So sections are hierarchical, but notes themselves are web. Yeah. Okay.
very similar. And there are advantages to this approach for sure, like being able to keep drilling down as far as you want to go without any thought to where one file stops and another one starts. But Obsidian doesn't work this way, and at first it was a real struggle for me because I didn't want to have to make individual files for each and every Bible verse I wanted to link in my cross-reference library that I mentioned earlier. But after a bunch of back and forth on the Obsidian forum, it just seemed like linking to bullets was just not going to be possible. That's actually changed a little bit over the years, especially with the assistance of the Strange New Worlds plugin by TFT Hacker. And honestly, if that
What?
that plugin had been around at the beginning, I might have just used it instead of wrestling with the limitations of having those individual notes. But that's actually the strength of Obsidian.
Strange New Worlds. Obsidian Strange New Worlds plugin. What's that about? 556 stars. Last commit was 5 days ago. Uh, are these like references? How to use it? Okay, let's look at this, I guess. To review, overview. Okay, I'll look into this later. That seems quite interesting.
And I've discovered too, in a way, because ultimately Obsidian just sits on top of a folder full of markdown files. If Obsidian disappeared tomorrow, I'd still have all my notes and I could open them in pretty much any markdown-based text editor. True, a few things would be broken that rely on community plugins, but it's all plain text and all my text would still be readable. So eventually I came to the point that I was just going to accept that each note was its own thing. And that meant that I would need to create individual notes for all of those verses that I wanted to link. Now, fortunately, I had a friend who wrote a script for me that took the public domain file for the King James Version of the Bible and broke it into those individual.
Yeah, and like the good thing about having individual notes as well is that it is so modular. But like at least it's easier to just like because they're already separated as files. It's easier to create a tool that does this. Also, I kind of lied. Files can like files in a vacuum can be connected in a graph, but then a tree-like structure is used for folder structure as well. I kind of ignored that. So which means you can still have a hierarchical structure, tree structure, without having to put everything in one note. But my point is, because you have them separate notes, it's easier to develop a tool that can then do stuff with these, right? Like if you want to export these to a single note, you could just have a tool that recursively goes to this tree and flattens them or folds them into one file. Whereas if you want to do the opposite, it's a bit more effort. Which is kind of interesting to think about.
Now I discovered that breaking notes down into the smallest component pieces was actually perfect for linking things together. So I started calling these atomic notes, which was inspired by the book Atomic Habits, where author James Clear
Atomic Habits
defines
I've heard about this book.
two specific ways, and I like both of these. First, as an extremely small amount of a thing, the irreducible unit of a larger system.
Okay.
And two, the source of immense energy or power.
The source of energy power. Okay. See, the thing is, I want to add these to my knowledge base right now, but I can't really, can I? Ooh, I can make I can make literature notes on this video, can't I? Should I do that? Okay. Sorry, chat. While I'm watching this video, I'm actually going to make some notes because that makes sense, right? Let's just delete this installer, and it's off here. $70 left. Okay, so let's go Obsidian. And yeah, let's since watching these videos, I should really be making some literature notes, shouldn't I? So this is one literature note. I only have one right now. I call it sources, which is a valid title. And let's make a new one. Nice. So I got the template by there by default, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna unpin this. It's kind of just distracting. I'll pin it here instead. Use page numbers in literature notes. Yeah. So for videos, I need to use the timestamps for different notes as well. So title, 10 essential PKM lessons. Whoops. Right? Should probably actually do like this. Right? Yeah. Authors, Mike Schmitz, which is a freakishly similar name to the Mike Schmidt. Five Nights at Freddy's. This was actually only 6 months ago, so it's pretty recent, which is always nice. We like up to date stuff. September is the 9th month, right? 2025. Oops. Tags, I don't know yet. Link to the video. Mirrors, no need. In this case. IDs. IDs? Like the video ID? Okay. I guess it's just like this. Somehow that didn't take this properly. Oh my god, I cannot. Like this, I think. Don't need the R thing there. Invalid properties. Oh boy. Okay. Tag. So this is academic paper. This is a YouTube video. Right? Now, does it? No, I mean, it doesn't matter that it's a YouTube video. I mean, it kind of does because it's like, but like YouTube style video, right? So, what do you like at this point? YouTube is so like, what's the word? Like, it has such little competition, like Vimeo and like whatever other alternatives exist don't really compete with YouTube. So, like the YouTube video medium has kind of like it's like its own thing now. I don't know if there's a more general term for it, like video by random guy on the internet and not necessarily a production company, right? That's called. What is the general media? The general name for the medium that YouTube videos fall under? I'm aware that this space is massively dominated by YouTube itself. But say we wanted to group similar style of content like Vimeo and like Vimeo. I actually don't know anything else. That's crazy. I guess TikTok is like moving to long form content. Online video platform. Web video, internet video. User generated content. Video sharing platform, video hosting platform. So web video? Online video? Maybe? Let's go with online video. I think that's okay. And I should be able to rename tags. I can. So that's fine. So if I ever need to change it, that's okay. Yep. This is the video ID. And yeah. Hold on. Right. So and the title is going to be the title of the video dash the author's name, Mike Schmitz, and then the publishing year, date even. Like so. Cool. I'm surprised that video didn't have any. Oh, but I mean, I guess just a plus would be a potential issue for which symbols are allowed in the file name, but that's fine. Okay. So now if I have any notes or thoughts on it, I take them as I go. So let's go back to the beginning. I'm just going to refresh
First tip
my
is to
memory.
develop your workflows one at a time. I have to be honest. The second tip is to not split your vault unless you absolutely need to. People often ask me if I split my notes into separate vaults based on the topics because I use Obsidian for so many things. So for example, I mentioned my cross-reference library previously, which adds tens of thousands of notes to my vault. But I also have a collection of notes from all the books that I read for the Bookworm podcast. And on the surface, these two things don't look like they're related. So I get asked all the time if I separate those two inside of Obsidian. And my answer is an emphatic no. Personally, I believe there's a ton of inspiration to be gleaned by having things all in one vault, where I can make connections across. Emphatic no. Personally, I believe there's a ton of inspiration to be gleaned by having
Okay, so 3. So this chapter is called "Don't Split Your Vault." The issue with these is that these can change, right? But the timestamps should be consistent as long as they don't edit their video. So 304, right?
Personally,
I could link to the I could link to the timestamp, but I'm not going to. 304. Yeah. So how do I do this? Like a quote, I guess.
believe there's a ton of inspiration to be gleaned by having things all in one vault.
I'd love it if I could get a transcript of this as well. Get YouTube video transcript. In the video description, click show transcript. Okay. Ah, there it is. Okay. Nice. So on 304. Personally, I believe there's a lot of inspiration to be gleaned. I mean, things. Okay, can I see like the full transcript of once though? This is for this. Well, okay, this downloads it, but I don't want to download it per se. I just want to see it. It should be able to just display it for me. Free credits. Oh no. Personally, I believe there's a ton of information to be gleaned by having all the things in one vault. Yeah, so let's copy this. I can copy the link as well. Okay. Right. Okay, this is not ideal in terms of the formatting, but that works. And then I can put the reference like this. That's really ugly though. Just do like this. I mean, it should be in quotation marks anyway, so quotation marks. I lied. It shouldn't be. I guess what I can do is I can do this instead. So have the timestamp here, and then for this, I would have page number, right? So like, let's say this was page 3, line 5, like something like this. And then I don't, and then I no longer need these bars to separate the different things. Yeah, so let's try this. Whoops. No backlinks yet. Let me see the table of contents. Where's that stored? Here. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that I can see how my. Actually, can I use this? I can see how my Zettelkasten can also make connections with my knowledge base, right? Because like if I want to say I have like international business mentioned in my Zettelkasten as a thought, I can then link to the knowledge base in case I want to find out more about what I know about international business in the first place, and vice versa. In my knowledge base, if I have a thought that may be particularly relevant, then I can then link to that. And also, because they both will draw from like literature notes, for instance, then having them in the same vault is also kind of necessary at that point. So that's my thought there. I can see how my Zettelkasten can also make connections with my knowledge base, right? Because like if I want to say I have like international business mentioned in my Zettelkasten as a thought, I can then link to the knowledge base in case I want to find out more about what I know about international business in the first place, and vice versa. In my knowledge base, if I have a thought that may be particularly relevant, then I can then link to that. And also, because they both will draw from like literature notes, for instance, then having them in the same vault is also kind of necessary at that point. Issue is right. This would be most useful if I could. This would be most useful if I could also get a transcript of this. Um, how do I do that? Let's search in our plugins just in case to start. Transcripts, please. Okay. There's a YouTube transcript. That's good. Okay, I need this. Create notes for podcast audio. Generate transcript listings. No, okay. So first of all, this is really useful. Mobile friendly. Let's go. Ooh. Should I do this? So this lets me import a transcript into my Vault. Should I store the transcript of the video? I feel like that might actually was that no. No 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 no. No. No no there's no point in doing that. Was that spelled Zettelkasten? I guess that's no, that's a misspelling. But wait, on the side view? Okay, okay, that's fine. Because I just don't want to store the transcript. But this is good. So let's install this plugin. And transcription. That's a video. Transcription. All audio files in view. Okay. How about a specific one? Okay. Uh, Local, that's good. Start and timestamps. Transcribe at once in the background. Okay, not really what I want. Really what I need is text to speech, right? Audio notes. But like is text to speech is most useful if I can also have the audio at the same time. Oh, sorry, speech to text is what I meant. Because then I can check for any errors and I correct them myself. Audio transcripts for PDFs? No, no. Turn your audio into markdown notes inside Obsidian. I need API key for Gemini. It's not a bad idea. It's in beta. This uses ChatGPT or OpenAI. Well, OpenAI. Um, okay, let's just try this one first. So it's installed. Let's find them. Transcription and YT transcript. Transcription uses SwiftLink. You can also use Whisper. I don't. I guess I just use a default one. Language auto detect. Should be English, but just in case. Line spacing mode, multi-line, single line. Timestamps, no. Okay. Okay, cool. Embed summary would be useful. Do I need to SwiftLink account? Embed outline. Keywords. I don't know. Let's give it a try. So let's say I have this, right? How do I do this? Let's open the command line. And we're looking for transcript. No? What's it called? Transcription. Okay, I might need to go to more depth here. Transcription. Obsidian. Plugin. Should be on GitHub. Jesus. This one. Yeah. That's their website. Cool. I mean, this is Whisper ASR. Then this uses fifth link. What's that about? I guess we'll just watch this video.
Hi, I'm Solomon. I'm the founder of SwiftInc and developer of Obsidian Transcription. I'd like to quickly give a tutorial on how to put it all together. Obsidian Transcription, that is. So pretty simple. All you really have to do is install the plugin. I just search for transcription on the Obsidian plugin store and any plugins. Install, enable it, head over to options, and then you can sign in with Google or GitHub. I'm just going to go ahead and do that with Google real quick. And you're basically good to go.
Well, lag's crazy. Let me actually close Discord because I think that might be lagging me quite a bit.
It's free to use. You can sign up for more premium features. But to get started, it's absolutely free. So to transcribe a file, all you have to do is run the transcribable files view. I'll be adding more functionality to right-click.
To right-click. Did he? This was 2 years ago. So right now I can't use as a Control P transcription. I can't use it yet. So wait, transcription. Okay. So let's go ahead and log in. Sign in with Google, I guess. So cycle be reached. Awesome. Doesn't work. Can I do GitHub instead? No. Great. So it just doesn't work. Okay then. Yeah, that is not ideal, is it? So I guess that's useless. I mean, can I switch to Whisper ASR instead? Maybe that works instead. And then Control P, transcription. There's no command for it. Let's try just relaunching real quick. I doubt this will magically fix it, but yep. That did not work. So let's go to our plugins again. Transcription. Hello? Do you work, please? I mean, that's my local host, isn't it? So do I have to give it a valid link first? Okay, so Whisper ASR, github.com, what? Ahmed Toner? Ahmed Toner. Love how I can't highlight this text, by the way. Whisper ASR web service. Whisper ASR web service. Okay. Also, I just run it locally. Damn. That's not ideal though. If it's just like a tool, it's fine. But if it's a thing that runs in the background, I'd rather not. Okay, then never mind. I'll just delete this. Does YT transcript work? Yeah. Okie dokie. So that doesn't work. Can I do text speech to text instead? So browse speech to text. This also uses Whisper. Add your API key. I mean, the other thing I can do is just talk to Claude, like literally make a new chat and just say, "Yo, I'm trying to figure out how to do something right now." Okay, that was not a good example. So like for this one, I can see how my Zettelkasten. Yeah, I can see how my Zettelkasten could link to my knowledge base because, for example, let's say I have international business, my Zettelkasten could, if my Zettelkasten includes something about international business, then I may want to click on that to find out what I know about international business in the first place, right? And then boom, and then I have my transcription that I can just paste like that. But it does mean I do not get the audio, unfortunately. So that is the bad thing. Um, that's okay, I think. Like I don't need to. Yeah, it's fine. So right, so to do this properly, I'll just go anonymous just so I can not accidentally make something. Personally, there's some information to be gleaned by having things in all box. Yeah, so I do think it makes sense that even if I have my Zettelkasten and some separate knowledge-based system, because they both because I will probably both draw from the same literature notes and other kinds of source notes, then either way they'll have to be in the same vault, right? But also the Zettelkasten could link to my knowledge base. For example, let's say I have something about international business. If I want to then link to it just in case me in the future wants to find out my thoughts on what not thoughts, but like my understanding of what international business actually is, then that'd be good to link there, and vice versa. If I want to mention a thought I have about something in my knowledge base, then I could then link to my Zettelkasten, and that would be Gucci. Yeah, so not perfect, but definitely there. And then I can even say summarize this. So I do think it makes sense that even if I have my Zettelkasten and some separate and some separate knowledge base system, because they both draw well, because they both draw, because they will probably both draw from the same literature notes and other kinds of source notes. Then either way they'll have to be in the same vault, right? But also these Zettelkasters, but also the Zettelkasten could link to my knowledge base. For example, let's say I have something about international business. If I want to then link to it, just in case me in the future wants to find out my thoughts on what not thoughts, but like my understanding of what international business actually is, then that'd be good to link there and vice versa. If I want to mention a thought, I can, if I want to mention a thought about something in my knowledge base, and I could then link to my Zettelkasten, and that would be Gucci. Yeah, so you just copy this. Let's see what Claude does with that. Place this. Yeah. And then I can do this, I guess. The thing is, I'm skeptical about using AI in my notes at all. Because like, there must be notes, right? My own words. So now screw that. I'll just whittle this down. Okay. So let's continue. with the video.
believe there's a ton of inspiration to be gleaned by having. The third tip is to embrace the idea of atomic notes.
Oh,
Before I switch to personally, I believe because I use Obsidian for so many things. So for example, I mentioned my cross-reference library previously, which adds tens of thousands of notes to my vault. But I also have a collection of notes.
yeah. So for this one, I could just say Obsidian has a way to organize files in grid view. Which I low-key forgot about. Would be cool to use. Yeah, I think I'll just write as I speak instead, and like have that as a habit. Because like this is kind of just, first of all, it's very verbose, and it's also very finicky because I need to like use Claude text to speech. Let's just see how this goes now. Also, can I get this grid view, like right now? Nope, later.
Notes from all the books that I read. For this is where a separate vault can be useful. Like if your vault gets so to
Says
make
vault?
meaningful lifestyle changes,
Is just a
because I had a stronger why.
animation?
The third tip is to embrace the idea of atomic notes. Before I switched to Obsidian, I was using Rome Research, which basically doesn't have individual notes. There's just these nested bullets, and you can open up any bullet as its own note. Tana is very similar.
So my thought there was that Obsidian.
And there are advantages to this approach for sure, like being able to keep drilling down as far as you want to go without any thought to where one file stops and another one starts. But Obsidian doesn't work this way, and at first it was a real struggle for me. The third tip is to embrace the idea of atomic notes. Before I switched to Obsidian, I was using Rome Research, which basically doesn't have.
Right, so this is 436. Embrace atomic notes. 436, right? 438, whatever. 436. So 436.
Have individual notes. There's just
Worth noting that Obsidian supports both graph representation, both graph and tree representations of notes, where graph is free and tree is like hierarchical. Hierarchical. How do you spell this word, bro? Hierarchical. Okay. Zettelkasten is not in a word in my thing for some reason. Is it Zettel or is it Zettel? I think it's Zettelkasten. Whoopsie daisy. Well, that's now not a typo anymore. That's annoying. Within that Obsidian supports. Sorry, can I open my dictionary? Because I need to like. Great. Wait, I saw it. Damn it, Windows. Yes. Please. There are like no words here. Okay, we're cooked. Okay. In fact, it supports both simultaneously. The tree is achieved via folders, and the graph is just there by default, since graph view ignores folders and considers all notes as equally leveled, let's say, as equal level. Awesome.
these nested bullets, and you can open up any bullet as its own note. Tana is very similar. And honestly, if that plugin had been around at the beginning, I might have just used it instead of link. Now, fortunately, I had a friend who wrote a script for me that took the public domain file for the King James version of the Bible.
You'll notice I'm not having the transcription for all of these moments. But that's because these thoughts aren't necessarily triggered by any particular words. They can sometimes be triggered by just looking at the screen. In this case, though, get YouTube transcript from URL prompt. That's URL. How do I do this? That's footnotes. Control P, transcript. Get from URL prompt. Boom, boom. Nice. Okay. So we're what, 66605? Are these links, by the way? To like the video timestamp? Yes. So 605. I had a friend who wrote a script for me that took the couple of domain. Okay, can I click on this? Copy all. No, I just want to copy the specific thing. Please. Luckily, I had a friend. Okay, now if I copy all, does it copy everything? No. Okay, I guess that works. Fortunately, I had a friend who was with me for the King Egyptian. Blah, don't really care what is said after that. So, quotes. Yep. And then my thought here was, I'd argue it's useful. Well, argue. I'd say it's useful. It's useful to keep things as atomic as possible, since it then allows them to be combined and structured more flexibly than if they were all already flattened into some structure. I mean this both conceptually, but also programmatically, as it is far easier to access a file system, a file structure of notes, than a list of notes. A file structure of multiple notes, of multiple atomic notes, access to parse, than to parse a single note with markdown formatted listing of notes. Programmatically. Dude, how is my dictionary so ass? Like, that's crazy. Right.
Script for me that took the public domain file for the King James Version of the Bible and broke it into those individual notes. And I discovered that breaking notes down into the smallest component pieces was actually perfect for linking things together. So I started calling these atomic notes, which was inspired by the book Atomic Habits, where author James Clear defines atomic two specific ways, and I like both of these. First, as an extremely small amount of a thing, the irreducible
Atomic Habits. I wonder if I have this in my library. That'd be pretty good to read, actually. University of Liverpool Library. I definitely need to bookmark this. Can I bookmark like this? Where is it bookmarked to? Don't tell me, that's fine. Oh. Uni, please. Atomic Habits. Cool. Available online. Great. There is a local copy, but unavailable. To be fair, not surprised. Available online, it says. Whatever. Borrow. Let's read a sample for now. Why is it in dark mode? Oh, what? Okay, what's this actually about? Transform your life with tiny changes. People think you want to start your life. You cause atomic habits. Okay. So this is a book I probably should read then. Mark Manson even said it was good. Okay. I do actually like Mark Manson. I know his book is a lot of flack, but I do actually like Mark Manson's videos at least. Even if the book isn't great, I don't know. I've not read it. Okay. So I'm trying to think how I should do this then. So let's say I take Atomic Habits by James Clear. Right. So if I want to reference this, so let's go up. Okay, let me put this down first. Probably the easiest thing to do first of all. And he mentions it where?
And that meant that I would need to create individual notes for all of those verses that I wanted to link. Now, fortunately, I had a friend who wrote a script for me that took the public domain file for the King James Version of the Bible,
Yeah.
where author James Clear's Atomic Notes, which was inspired by the book Atomic Habits.
Yeah, so 620. Damn it. Man, why can't I just copy a certain part of it? I can. Wait, I can. I just drag and drop. Okay, that's fine. So 620, 620, 621, like so. Right? Okay. By the way, I know like this is technically it takes a while to write this boilerplate, but and if I could speed it up somehow, I definitely would like to, but I'm not going to skip it just because it's effort, because future me would benefit from these, and that is what is most important. Um, yeah, so I've heard about this book before. This book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, published in when? 2018. Right, so like I want to set up this note, so if I ever do read it, I can see it there before, and would like to potentially read it sometime.
Where author James Clear defines atomic two specific ways, and I like both of these. First, as an extremely small amount of a thing, the irreducible unit of a larger system. And two, the source of immense energy or power.
The source of immense energy or power. I mean, this one's like obvious. This one's like, huh?
So when we apply that to personal knowledge management, or PKM, I believe the more you break your notes and ideas down into smaller component pieces, the more you will discover new and interesting connections between them that you hadn't seen before. It's kind of like having a bunch of little mental Lego bricks to work with, and the smaller those pieces are, the more flexibility you have in making something new out of them. The next tip is to use a separate capture tool.
Yeah, I kind of already said that. Okay.
Obsidian is great at a lot of things, but quick capture is not one of them. And honestly, at this point, even if it was, I don't think I'd recommend capturing things directly into Obsidian, because I found personally that in order to get maximum value out of your notes and ideas, I need to carefully curate what I keep in Obsidian. And one of the
It's true. It's true.
best ways to keep high signal to
Actually, I think I still have this in my inbox. Never mind. I thought I had an audio note, but it looks like my inbox is clear for now, or rather, I just haven't updated my inbox in a while. Obsidian homepage. Oh yeah, I want to do that later. I thought I had an audio note somewhere, but maybe I already tackled it. Oh no, that's right. I have audio notes on my what? I have audio notes in my voice notes app. I think. Um, where is it? Here. The voice memos, whatever. For instance, the richer you are, the more likely you are to be given free stuff. Source from some Reddit post about Bill Gates and a few other people have a gold McDonald's card. Right. So I don't know how clear that was in the audio, but I put it into literally my Apple audio app. But I just realized I can just open Obsidian, right? Just gonna load. Go to my. Okay, well, it's updating. Okay, wait for it to update. Like sync, I mean. I wish it would tell me when it's syncing, like when it's finished. So why does my mobile look so different from desktop? Different theme, I guess. Right, so I think it's finished. So I've got my inbox here, right? It's empty. And then I should be able to import voice notes. It should call out, because I think extensions work both on mobile and on desktop. Voice, no. You guys can't see my screen. Sorry. Let me see if I can do it this way. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Sorry, my appearance. Can I just change this? I can't. Or I can? Whatever. Right, so how do I create a voice message thingy? Yeah, okay. So if I press this, it's blurry as hell on my screen, but it says start/stop recording. So I can do something like hello? Wait, did it record? I don't know. Let me try again. Oh. So I press start and then it stops. Okay. So let's test this right now. So here I am in Obsidian, right? Here's my inbox. This is there. Okay, that's been deleted. So let's do a test. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Okay. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Boom. So there you go. So yeah, I'll do that instead then of using voice notes, which is just better in this case because it goes straight to my inbox and I can access them on my desktop. That's important. The annoying thing is, and you can't. I mean, again, you can't really see my screen because it's blurry for some reason. But that button somewhere there says start/stop recording. If I press it, then it just starts recording, but there's no like UI to set like to stop it. I then need to open the menu, press start recording, it'll close, and then I say what I want to say, open the menu again, not that, open the menu again, and then press the same button to stop recording. So not the most like streamlined UI, but it will work. It will work. So that's cool. So I need to start using that then. Because I low-key forgot I could do that.
The noise ratio in your vault is simply to use a separate capture tool to insert some space. You see, I believe that you really don't know what an idea is when you have it. It all seems important, it all seems life-changing in the moment. But when you insert some time between capturing things, you don't forget them, and curating them into your PKM system, you can see much more clearly what you really have to work with. Now,
yeah, so that being said, okay, I'm not even showing my screen. That being said, I shouldn't force myself to use this. If I need to, I can, of course, have other ways of taking notes. Like if I don't have my phone on me, I might write it on paper and keep it. If I'm in a rush, then I might just open my voice memos app anyway. But if I have the time to do it, then I should make it as into my Obsidian as I can. Like if I'm sitting down, then just do it on my computer. If I'm out with my phone, then do it through Obsidian. If I'm in a rush, then do voice memo, whatever, right? This is also the first time I've seriously considered a smartwatch. Like until now, I've kind of thought smartwatches were just a bit useless. Unless you need for fitness tracking, I guess, but I don't do that. But if I had it for taking notes, so I could be like, and then it would sync to my Obsidian. That'd be awesome. Although I don't think it would sync to my Obsidian automatically. In fact, there might be an extension in which I can make this a bit more streamlined. Let me ask Claude. Let me switch my view. Is there an extension for Obsidian that allows me to simply open my phone and record a voice note that is then automatically synced to my Vault? I mean, this would be if I had a smartwatch. For my phone, it doesn't really matter, but for a smartwatch, I can't open Obsidian on the smartwatch. I mean, maybe I can, but I don't know how like the UI would be. Transcripted. It's a free tier. That's fine. Without Obsidian. That's cool. Voice Inbox is an iOS app that lets you capture your ideas without putting Obsidian. Huh? How? Oh, but it won't sync automatically. That's fine then. But okay, this is interesting. What is voice notes though? Oh, voice notes is its own thing. That's fine then. But like, I was just thinking for like if I had a smartwatch, how that would work. But I don't have a smartwatch, so it doesn't matter for now. Let's continue.
Personally, I use drafts to capture things, though Funnel is also very good, and Whisper Memos on the Apple Watch is also a great
Exactly. I mean, this guy literally has an Apple Watch, and he just talks about using it. So
option. All of these are only available on Apple devices, though, and I like it because I can capture things on my phone as well as via dictation when I'm out for a run. It's kind of crazy to me how often I get good ideas when I don't have my phone accessible or on me.
yeah.
But the important
Yes,
thing here
that's
is
important.
simply to have a separate tool where you capture things and then you periodically bring those things over into your Obsidian Vault, but you only bring over the best of the best. In other
Man, I should. I've never wanted a smartwatch so bad.
words, you get more out of your notes and ideas if you carefully curate the things that you capture and bring into.
Okay.
We're sort of conditioned to just collect and complete tasks without much thought as to why we're doing them or where they came from. And this is the problem I have with the Getting Things Done or GTD framework
Sorry, I should really write
in
what I just said
Obsidian,
down.
which means that my Obsidian Vault only has the best of the best stuff. Only bring over the best as well as via dictation when I'm out for a run. It's kind of crazy.
808 and Heartbreak. Use a separate capture tool. So this is what 808, as I just said, ish. It's kind of crazy to me how often I get good ideas when I don't have my phone accessible on me. So I can capture things on my phone as well as by detection. Let's change it to like 755 something. I don't know. I made it up. Let's substitute a quote thing. Okay, so this one first of all, and then another note. Yeah, so for this one, I do for the first time in my life, I would actually really like a smartwatch just so I can take notes on the fly without depending on my phone. Can literally wear the watch anywhere, even in the shower, right? And then for this one, since a phone is a tool of distraction, it is no surprise to me that many good ideas can suddenly come to mind when the phone is out of reach, and therefore is even more of a case for why a smartwatch is so important for capturing these fleeting notes, since it is the only other mobile device that you can carry anywhere that has this functionality, let's say. Yeah.
Crazy to me how often I get good ideas when I don't. The next tip is to keep what resonates, but
I was expecting this video to actually be good, but this is a good video. Like genuinely good tips, and he explains it very well.
not what might be important. We're sort of conditioned to just collect and complete tasks without much thought as to why we're doing them or where they came from. And this is the problem I have with the Getting Things Done or GTD framework. It's hard for me to tell what I should be focusing on in the moment. The question of is this important can become hard to answer. Those lines become blurred, especially when the urgency of others' requests masquerades often as false importance. And that's one of the big reasons that I created the PKM stack, which is a framework that helps me create the motivation to follow through on what's really important, and it gives me the clarity to cut the things that aren't. I've got another video here which dives deeper into that framework as well, but the important thing for right now is to recognize that when we work backwards from our vision and values, we can flip the script on the default life and live
Identity, actions, ideas, information. Information, ideas, actions, identity.
a life of intention and meaning instead. And when we
Whew, getting big here. Big, big, big. A task manager. The PKM stack, a simple framework for turning chaos into clarity. That's cool. I might watch that later.
do this, pretty much everything in our relationship with the information we manage in our PKM system changes. For example, we no longer ask, is this important? Because that question just feeds the FOMO. And we scroll things away in our digital filing cabinets in case we might need to find those things again later. But if we focus on what resonates, we ask a different question. Is this useful? So in other words, does this thing align with my vision and values, and will it be useful?
Yeah. And to do that, you need to know what your vision and values are.
In helping me create the kind of life that I want to live. The best way I can sum this up is to ask this question a little bit differently. And that is, does this resonate? Now, I grew up playing the violin, so the idea of resonance really clicks for me. When something resonates, it causes a reverberation in your soul. It feels a little bit...
Well, the writing is just fire. I need to definitely watch this video.
I have to admit...
Not like today, but like now, but like I'll definitely watch it later.
A bit like an echo, and it acts as a cue.
Couldn't even hit that note.
Next tip is to consider the role of your devices. Even though Obsidian provides pretty much feature parity between desktop and mobile, I wouldn't recommend you try to use it the same way everywhere on every device. There are some things that certain devices are better suited for. There are certain things with Obsidian that are better on a big monitor and a full keyboard. And there are some things that are better suited for, well, whatever the phone is better at. Seriously though, what the phone is good at is quick capture. And unfortunately, Obsidian really isn't, which is one of the big reasons I decided long ago to use a separate capture tool, as I mentioned earlier. But the key here is to recognize what mode you're going to be in when you're using your devices, and then optimizing your workflows to support that. For example, I use Obsidian on both my iPhone and my MacBook Pro. However, the computer is where I do 95% of my work in Obsidian because the form factor is better suited for what I need to do. For me, the computer is where I do all of my actual work. And when I'm using Obsidian on my mobile device, I'm mostly just using it for daily journaling at the end of the day. Because I'm only using Obsidian on mobile for journaling and occasionally referencing a note, I can optimize my Obsidian setup for this. I call these device modes, and they're extremely helpful when you want to be more intentional about the way that you use your tech. By having these different device modes, it means that when I'm using Obsidian on my phone, one, I don't need to sync my entire vault, and two, I don't need the majority of the plugins that I have installed on my computer. So by paring things down on my mobile device, it drastically improves the experience, and it helps funnel me down intentional paths whenever I use my mobile device because I'm clear on what I want to use it for.
I never use my phone like ever to access Obsidian. The only time I use it right now is to access my shopping list. But I barely even update my shopping list anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I would use it for capturing, but I don't think I would use it for writing because I just generally don't like writing on mobile. It's kind of a pain in the ass for me as someone who's quite efficient with a keyboard, so like a physical keyboard. So having that mobile keyboard is just so slow, it's actually difficult. But journaling is interesting. But even then, like, I'd rather like sit down at the end of the day and type it out than, yeah, I don't know. Right now,
This
I can't
means
think of a
I'm much
reason.
less likely to spend time unintentionally scrolling endless feeds or dipping my toes into the infinity pools. The next tip is don't try to make Obsidian do too much. Obsidian can do anything. That's kind of the problem. That doesn't mean it should do everything, though. In fact, everything apps tend to be pretty bad at just about everything that they try to do. It's a very common path that people tend to follow when they start using Obsidian. I follow this path, and I've seen hundreds of other people follow this path as well. The first step in the journey is that you feel it's just too complicated. This happened to me when I first started using Obsidian. As I mentioned earlier, I actually quit and deleted the app the first time I tried it. The TLDR here is that understanding how information flows into and out. The next tip is to consider your sources. I was at the Craft and Commerce conference a few years ago, and I heard creator Sahil Bloom say something very profound. This was before he wrote his excellent book, The 5 Types of Wealth. He shared that everything you create is downstream from something that you consume. As a creator, that means it's important for me to curate the sources of information that I feed on. But even if you aren't a YouTuber, podcaster, or author, I believe it's important to understand that the quality and the quantity of the ideas that you have are directly correlated to the quality of the information that you consume.
Yeah. Which is why I have my RSS feeds where I
The
can.
higher the quality, I have 3 questions that I use for my own information sources, like podcasts, newsletters, YouTube videos, etc., that I think can really help you as well. Now, full credit for these questions goes to the late Jim Rohn, who shared them long before the internet was a thing, but that actually makes them even more important, in my opinion, not less. So here they are. First, who am I allowing to speak into my life? Every YouTube video I watch, every podcast I listen to, every newsletter I read is someone that I've opened the door to, so I want to make sure that I'm letting in the good stuff and keeping out the bad. There's too much information out there to keep up with it all anyways, so I might as well just focus on the good stuff. Second, what effect is that having on me? Nothing is neutral. After I get done consuming something, I pay attention to how I feel. Am I glad that I invested the hour and a half to listen to that podcast, or did the discussion make me more nervous and anxious? And then the third question is that okay? Because if it's not,
Okay.
next tip is to make your PKM system useful, not perfect. It's easy to look at what others have done and feel imposter syndrome. This is especially true about your own PKM system. The truth, PKM is messy, and that's okay. So full disclosure, my personal vault is often a complete mess. When you watch my YouTube videos, I clean things up because if I showed you everything that was in there, it
Wait, what?
okay. So full disclosure,
Who is this guy? Don't know. Is this why Apple is this why Mac desktops are like as flexible as they are? Like personally, I don't like literally I use my desktop for nothing. Like you can see I have my recycle bin here, which I might use if it looks full, and my hosts, which I use. I can't even remember what I use hosts for, and then I have these two, which I never use because I have them here anyway. Um, but this is interesting. Maybe I can use my desktop more. Like why? I don't know.
my
I don't know.
personal vault is often a complete mess. When you watch my YouTube videos, I clean things up because if I showed you everything that was in there, it would be really hard to understand what's actually going on. But the only way to keep your Obsidian vault perfectly clean is to never use it. A while back, Bob Dotto did a session for the library, which is my paid membership community, and he described Zettelkasten in his workshop as a system of anarchy for leveraging chaos.
Yeah.
Most common mistakes. So there
Okay.
you have it. 10 tips that I learned the hard way from using Obsidian every day for the past 5 years. And hopefully these can help save you from making some of the same
This
mistakes
shows.
on your own Obsidian journey. And if you made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you. I know this video is a bit longer than normal, but I tried to keep it as tight as possible while still giving you some of my best advice.
Damn. Cool. Thank you, Mike Schmitz. That was actually a good video. A very good video. And I will now be checking out this channel. Well, we'll see. How you just cause a vibe code my new drilling dashboard? Right, yeah, you can vibe code stuff. Plugins. I'm just gonna quickly check this out. Plugin PSA.
Apps into the right places so that information can flow effortlessly into and then out of my PKM system. Now, if you want to dive deeper into that framework, I have a separate video here where I walk. I need to make a public service announcement here real quick about plugin hygiene. As a general rule, you want to use as few Obsidian plugins as you can. Now, don't get me wrong, plugins are... So with that caveat out of the way, there.
Calendar I use,
which is the periodic notes plugin. This plugin basically gives you options for additional periodic notes, like weekly notes, monthly notes, quarterly notes, even yearly notes. You can configure settings for these other...
Don't care about those.
The next essential plugin on this list is the Data View plugin. Now, I actually don't use Data View nearly as much as I used to, thanks to the new Basis Core plugin that's available in Obsidian version 1.
Exactly, built and ready.
The next plugin on this list is also the most recent for me, and that is the Keep the Rhythm plugin. If you're not using Obsidian for writing, you probably won't have much use for this one, but in my opinion, Obsidian is severely underrated as a writing app.
I've thought about it, but I don't really care. Templates I already have, quick add.
Custom macros for automating things in Obsidian. And it may not look like much at first, but once you start figuring out how to tie these things together, this plugin quickly becomes essential for anyone who wants to control Obsidian from their keyboard. You can even use this to prompt for certain values when you create files from templates. So for example, I use quick add to capture journal entries, and then I append those entries to the appropriate section in my daily note. With quick add, I can use a keyboard hotkey from anywhere in my Obsidian vault to run a system command, answer a pop-up prompt, my response
Whatever.
plugin on the list may surprise you that it's not number one, and that is the Obsidian Test plugin. And that's not to take anything away from this incredible plugin, which is absolutely amazing. If you've been following my YouTube channel for any length of time, you know I use this one a lot. It powers not.
I think I have that one, but I just haven't used it. Probably should use
Right,
it.
we're down to the end. My most essential Obsidian plugin.
Like shopping
Honestly,
list.
it's hard to pick just one, but if I had to, the plugin I absolutely could not live without is Actions URI by Carlo Zotman. Now, this may seem like a weird one to put at the top of the list. I get
GitHub
that. But this plugin
Actions?
is absolutely critical for me. The most important workflow I have is my digital journaling workflow, where I log my daily questions to my daily note. Now, that workflow is completely dependent on the shortcuts actions added via the Actions for Obsidian app on iOS. The bridge that allows those actions to write to the appropriate periodic note in Obsidian is this plugin, which means that I would probably just give up trying to journal in Obsidian if this plugin ever went away. Now, if you want to see that daily questions workflow and how it's configured, check out this video here. But basically, I've got a shortcut that allows me to capture my ratings for my daily questions, which looks something like, did I do my best to love my kids, love my wife, create something, etc., on a scale from 1 to 10. So I assign a score based on my effort or my intentions, and then it formats those responses and adds the scores to the appropriate tags. And then finally inserts that whole text block at a specific placeholder in the current daily note file. I've even got a custom Canvas dashboard where I display those values on a line graph that I review every time.
Damn. It's cool. Yeah. I mean, the potential of this actions thing looks cool. Perfect AI is impossible. Tell me more. Omae wa mo show me more. Bruv. Lots of videos recommended here. Yeah. Okay. So this video is very good. By this video, I mean the one I just closed. The one that I closed before this one. Whatever. That was good. Okay. That was okay. Okay. Why? Can I embed, by the way? How do I embed a YouTube video? And why is my YAML messed up? That's because there's a space at the top. Yep. Pardon me. So if I want to Obsidian embed YouTube video, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like this, yeah. How'd you do it though? Do I just link it? And like it'll magically... Nope. Do I like link it like this? Nope. Media extended plugin. Is that a note? Huh? This might actually be kind of cool. Hold on. Oh, what up, chat? UTab. Oh, this is how you embed. Right. Oh, okay. Never mind. Although, hold on. If I do this, does this work? I don't think so. Okay.
I've been using
That's cool. So what does this plugin do? That's updated 5 days ago? Okay, documentation. I'm blind. Show me. Social media. Okay. What? Username password. Okay. Doesn't download it. Oh, it does download it. Oh. But this is a link, right? Oh, never mind. Okay, so these are for like local files. I'm not really gonna link. I'm not gonna save any videos like that anyway. Really, just to save the storage space on my thing. But this is all I need. Cool. We don't need no education. So I want to try this thing. Sources, new canvas? Is it a canvas? What even is a canvas, bruv? Dragon over your vaults. Okay. Never mind. Is it a base? Like how do I create a listing? New folder, note, canvas, or base. It's gotta be a base then. Add view. Cards. Yes. Card size, I don't know yet. Image property. Ooh, okay, I see. Link, I guess, for now. Image fit cover. Okay. Filter. No, properties. No. Filter? This view. File, in folder, sources. Cool. File is not name is not untitled dot base. Or better actually, file type extension is not base. Okay. So all sources and pin that here. And then for the image, how should I do this? Just like this. Take a screenshot. Control C. And then paste it here. Can I do that? Can I paste it into here? New fields, please. Please. Preview. Let's say paste here. Open this image. Rename it. How can you be so... Well. Close this folder. Close this folder. Copy this. Copy path. No. Copy name. Okay, so I'll take this. And then I will just add preview to the end of the name. Okay. Then I can take that link, go back, add it here, and link to it. So preview, it's gonna be a link. .png, yep. And then do I keep it here? No, because I think I just hover this, right? Or not. Or just click on it, that's fine. And then change this then. View, edit, preview. Nice, okay, it works. Image fit, contain, cover. Ratio, don't care too much to be honest. And for this one, I need to get the thumbnail, I guess. So click, no.
I've been
click
using
here.
Obsidian all day, every
All day, every day. Okay. This is Chromium, so YouTube thumbnail extension, Chrome extension. This one. Yep. Whoa. 9 ratings. That's sus, actually. YouTube thumbnail. Okay, this is what I'm used to, but 33 ratings? That's shocking. Low. I guess this one's fine, but whatever. So if I click on this one, nice. So copy image. Hopefully it doesn't have the black bars. That'd be kind of weird. Hello. Paste. It does have the black bars. Damn it. Why? Literally, why does it have the black bars? Does this have black bars? This one?
I've met fans who have literally guessed exactly what was gonna happen.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I'm literally
Great. Great. Okay. Never mind then. This one has black bars. Let's try a different one. YouTube thumbnail. If I get hacked, then boohoo, I guess. Select an image. What? Oh, that's different. Damn it. Why is it so hard? YouTube thumbnail. I just want to extract the thumbnail. Try this then. By the way, I'm not caught up. Well, season 5 of The Boys started airing yesterday, and I haven't watched a single episode yet, but I do want to. Hopefully this does give me spoilers. If I click on this, will it just... Okay, good, perfect. That's clean as well, actually. That's really clean. YouTube, can we make this a default feature? That's actually super clean. Okay, so let's take this then.
I've been using Obsidian all day, every day for over 5
Nice.
years
Copy
now, and
this.
I've learned a lot of things the hard way.
Wrong way.
If I could go back in time.
Silence. Let's paste. Copy this note. Go into the link. Change the title. Just put preview on the end. Close. Take this link. And preview. Bada bing. Bada boom. What? Why is this happen? It works, but like what? Okay, I use quotation marks, I guess. Like this. So it works. And honestly, I'm not going to bother embedding it. Yeah. Like the link's there. Doesn't matter. Okay. Can I display a tag? Like if I want to have the preview tag display on my thing, can I have that happen automatically? So like if I want to link to like preview as a tag. Let's ask Claude. In Obsidian, is it say I have a link to an image in one of my YAML property entries. Can I have this image then automatically display at the top of the page? Okay, Nah, no, it's good. Cannot be bothered. So let's do this then. We can see this. It's cool. Let's say we change this to be like that. So everything's kind of like horizontal. 16 by 9. Okay, looks good to me. Oh, I can include other things. So name, created time, don't really care. Base name, doesn't matter. Extension doesn't matter. Folder doesn't matter. File full name, file links, modified time, path, modified time. Might be useful. Actually, yeah, that's kind of useful. Authors, that's more useful. IDs don't really matter. Link doesn't matter. Mirrors, no. Should I have link here actually? Nah, no point. Preview, that's just an image. Published, that's what I need. Tags, useful. Title's already there. Or title's like the name. Okay, this is cool. Modify time. Is that really useful though? Can I also reorder these? I can't. So, oh, I can. Okay. I don't care about modified time actually. My things will be timeless. Authors, list. Yeah, those are fine. Those are fine. Cool. Nice bases. Bases are cool. Bases are cool. So I got these. I don't need the title twice. Yeah. So these. So yeah, authors, tags, and the date published. The rest of these don't matter. Cool. I wish I could hover to see the full title. That would be quite useful. But maybe I can do that through some skinning of some kind. And like, how's the order determined here? Does it say how it's sorted? Yeah. So property A to Z, group by, sort by. So group by, don't care. For sort by date modified. Makes sense. Old to new, new to old. Yeah. So this one I modified last, right? I think. Let's just confirm this by showing the property again. Modified time. We see here, this one was modified more recently. Yep. Perfect. Literally perfect. Cool. I like this a lot. So I got all sources, and can I just yeah. There's not much point in me doing this for my atoms, but I think this is a cool thing for my sources. So eventually this will become really big, right? And I can see all my sources. Yeah, awesome. So how do I close this transcript? Just close. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I should have these out more, just so I can actually see these at all times. All properties. I can filter by that. That's more useful here though, in like the search feature. If I open a note, yeah, no, this I can close. Footnotes are useful sometimes. I don't use them really, but these are the file properties here for this file. Is that useful? Not really. Nah, no, not really. Advanced tables, pretty good. Tags. I can again add that to my search view. These are useful. This is useful. So now I can collapse this again, just so I have like less buttons here. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Put this back to my vault. Also, graph view should show this note, right? Zettelkasten Uh, pure functions? Drafts. Why are my drafts there? That's weird. Go back to my files, please. Why is drafts just chilling here? Oh, because it got synced. Okay, I'll just delete this for it. I need to not show base files in my graph view. So files and links, I think, right? Now I wish I could change these advanced settings to only override my graph view, because I want some of these to show up in my search, but not my graph. But oh well. So search, graph view, Alex mentions, no bases. Enter path or rejects. Yeah, what is a reject? Like this? Is that rejects? Probably not, but let's try. Oh, no, it didn't work. Oh boy. What is rejects? What is the rejects for all dot base? Any characters? Escape the dots. Anchors. End of the string. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. Let's add that then. Did I even add it? No. Let's add this then. Boom, 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 boom. Shabba ding dang boom. It's gone, right? It's still there. What the hell? Why does it look like that? I just spent a lot of time setting that up, and now it's just being completely gutted. Why did it change? Hello? Huh? Oh, okay. Can I delete the table view? I don't want it. Right, I see now. Okay. I mean, this is the default view anyway, but yeah. Okay. Cool. Big source. Also big source, but whatever. All sources.base. Can I... Why is it still there? I literally added my perfect rejects. Low battery. Uh-oh. Oh, because it's not in sources, that's why. I'm guessing. Actually, I have no idea. One sources slash boom, 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 boom. Is that right? No, it should be dot star. I made a mistake. Brilliant. One sources slash. But like, I want to just exclude all base files. So why doesn't this work? Oh, it's this. Okay, never mind. Jeez Louise. Okay, so now I can close this. Graph view again. Please be gone. It's still there. What the frickly flack? Let's try again. Or debug this, I guess. I tried the latter. I tried both, but no work. I'm using Obsidian and want to just match for dot base files. Assuming they actually end in dot base. Huh. It's for listing files to exclude. What? Why? Right, let's see if it works. Nope. See. Please? Nope. Oh my days. Let me check forums maybe. Obsidian, hide base files from graph view. Graph uses the same syntax as search. Okay, but like where do I do it? Because I love it. Oh, so that one I recognized. Because I wanted to just be for graph view, nothing else. Okay, it worked here. Groups, that's fine. Oh, like here. Oh. No, that's for color coding. Display. No. Tags, by the way? Tags. Doesn't matter. Attachments. Existing files only. Who cares? Right. Okay. So now the base is set up. Crucial. It's been like 2 hours. Let's move on with the other videos then.
Template was posted on Reddit. The author, 2 years ago, a simple template was posted on Reddit. The author was Steph Ango, also known as Kipano. He's the CEO of Obsidian MD. Obsidian being a fantastic free note-taking app, already boasting lots of community contributions. This wasn't anything unusual. But when I tried Steph's system myself, I realized it's like nothing I've ever seen before. It ignores all the rules I knew, having me build an absolute mess. But in that chaos, a network of knowledge emerged. Even though the process was lazy and chaotic, I made new connections and started seeing the tracks in my thinking. And suddenly, Obsidian became my most valuable tool for learning, writing, and thinking. But before I build this up and teach you how to use it yourself, let me warn you about a trap that everyone walks into, me included. You see, these 2 years ago, I already downloaded Steph's template to see it for myself, but I was disappointed because it looked like any other low-effort starter system. It felt like stepping into the palace of a king and just seeing a lot of empty rooms with just tables and chairs, and that's it. But that wasn't even the worst part. His blog beautifully gave me the why.
Bro, what's the point of having 2 times speed if it's going to lag like the entire time? Kipano's Vault can be greatly improved by adding the community plugin. The actual creator commented on the video. That's cool.
System is designed like it is, the philosophy being so short yet effective. But as much as I wanted to put all of that into action, it was really hard to figure his system out. I didn't really see the genius in it back then, and therefore I abandoned it quickly. And as a result, I oversaw one of the biggest learning opportunities the Obsidian community offers. But now I understand, and I want you to do too. And before diving into anything, I want to highlight the first pillar of the project, which is math. Also, it probably has an author, which is some teacher. And it probably has a grade level, which is maybe for 9th grade. But an like here, just click on this like warning icon, click on update, then on the calendar and on today. This is a tiny bug you sometimes run into. I bet Steph is going to fix it. And the version I offer also has it fixed already. Okay, and here you could add like the people you met with. So for example, we already have Steph Ango as one of our options. Or perfect days, next time is next time, now is now. It reminds me of the essay, blah, 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 blah. This is the example Steph gave us. And now using the rule of Steph, which says that we link anything that we mentioned for the first time. For example, I went to see the movie Perfect Days. Perfect Days is something we can link. So we saw the movie Perfect Days, and now with Aisha, so this sort of creates this clean separation between it's a number from 1 to 7, and 7 being like absolutely life-changing, and it goes all the way down to 1, which is that it's negative.
A knowledge.
Should click. Okay, I can't change my tab now.
Base.
Vivaldi, stop tweaking. Thank you. They have a blog. Okay, that's kind of cool, actually. Use a saw. Fear the saw. So avoid splitting content. Okay, so no multiple vaults, no folders. Well, avoid folders, I guess. I mean, I don't use that either. I just use folders for systems, or like types of files, you could say, as opposed to topics. Standard Markdown, I like. Yeah, okay. Internal links profusely. This format for dates, the best one. 7-point scale? Huh? 7-point scale. Right, okay. Single to-do list per week. Okay. References, add clippings. Cool. Links. Yeah, okay. Okay, whatever. How about this video?
Is a place where, in the hunt for meaning, information.
Right, let's watch this intro.
A knowledge base is a place where, in the hunt for meaning, information is gathered and organized into what we call knowledge. As life itself, which would not have evolved without the organization of cells, the formation and management of knowledge is a dynamic process with no given roads or goals. We can set goals for ourselves, and we shall find our own way to get there. This lesson is meant to provide some help with the goal of setting up your own personal knowledge base. In practice, this comes down to a mindful approach to note-taking. But before digging deeper into the how, let's be clear on the why.
Okay.
Why would anyone need a knowledge base? Is this even something for you? It's certainly not for everyone. A knowledge base is for you if you not only just like to consume and experience and listen, read and watch a lot, but you also like to take notes on things, to record memories, to do research and to create or study or simply write ambitious stuff. Maybe something like educational video scripts. I have a Skillshare class on writing these. It's free within the Skillshare trial and linked below. See you around. Now, for a better understanding of what a knowledge base is all about, we gotta go back to school. History 101 on some of the very first knowledge bases. The first knowledge bases. To gain an idea of where some of the first knowledge bases might have been, we have to travel way back in time, to the beginning of history, basically.
Is that why I'm
namely to the year 0HE, short for Holocene or Human Era.
Damn.
That's about 12,000 years before our time, called the 2020s, reminiscent of some charismatic man's birthday. If you like a notable event to kick things off historically, then take the groundbreaking for the construction of Göbekli Tepe as a starting point. There was a huge temple/city built in teamwork of probably thousands of folks beginning in zero.
Huh. His calendar is in the year 12,000, which is kind of cool.
HE, or around that year, give or take a century or more. Who
I guess
knows
it's
for
a
sure.
human
Just
calendar,
as Jesus' exact birth date was probably a little off.
as opposed
Anyway,
to
actually,
the
what
Christian
marks
calendar.
the beginning
That's
of the
interesting.
Holocene or Human Era was a major shift in people's living conditions back
I mean, I don't have a calendar, but if I
along
did,
with the beginning of
I
settling
might get one
down.
like that.
Does sound wildly unspectacular, but it was in modern
Or maybe it's
terms
too
a
pretentious.
real game changer, called Neolithic Revolution for good reason. Humans at that time set the foundation for today's civilization by opting for a less nomadic life and instead planting seeds, growing crops and trading all sorts of things like grain, slaves I guess, and volcano
I guess.
is about.
Yeah.
The Obsidian Revelation. A knowledge base is not just a repository where information is gathered and organized. It is primarily a place of education, where teaching and learning happens, and where mistakes are made on a path of progress. A knowledge base is a place where knowledge is not only generated, but also applied and shared. In case of a personal knowledge base, it's you sharing its contents with your future self, assisting and educating yourself. But in order to build such a thing, it helps a lot to share experiences within a community along the way. And to make a living with creative work in the digital space, sharing is essential, even in a good way. To conclude, here is an exciting insight that can be drawn from all this on the important role that Obsidian played in the process in which the exchange of knowledge and experience and the introduction of new technologies were of governing importance. As a chipped stone tool, Obsidian has had a utilitarian purpose, but it also served as a metaphor into an odyssey and even an end in itself. Beware of that. In the digital era, for an activity as basic as taking notes, you can choose from a vast selection of software. In the past few years alone, a whole new generation of digital note-taking tools emerged, with names such as Rome and Story time. Be aware of your everything. As a child of 8 or 9 years maybe, I once tried to capture all the knowledge
Oh my god, the hair.
of the world. To do this, I took 8 sheets of paper, folded them in half, and tacked the fold together with a stapler. Thus, a book was born, volume 1 of who knows how many more to come. On the cover, I wrote the lexicon on every
Wait, how old was he?
to get of 8 or 9 years maybe,
8 or 9
once
years
tried
old.
to capture all the knowledge of the world.
Damn.
To do this, I took 8
Ambitious.
sheets of paper, folded them in half, and tacked the fold
good.
together with a stapler. Thus, a book was born, volume 1 of who knows how many more to come. On the cover, I wrote
I do wonder how many did
the
come.
lexicon on.
The lexicon. Uber means on? Uber? Is it? I don't speak German by the way, but I thought Uber was like very, or maybe thinking like Uber, like Uber charge. I don't know.
Everything in German. I remember an anxiety lurking within me for how should I begin? Next to the title, I drew a blue giraffe and a stag beetle. At that time, I thought I knew a lot about animals. On page 1, the book says, we'll start with a story. And that's as far as I got. All the other
Awesome.
pages are empty. I still told the story, though, in pictures.
That's actually
They
quite
show a child who climbs
real.
a hill. It throws away the rope when reaching the top. Up there, wandering in a forest, this child is suddenly surprised by the rain. It runs back but realizes that it has thrown away the rope. There kneels the child on the hillside and doesn't know where to go. It is stuck between a lost past and an uncertain future. Maybe my child self wanted to draw a metaphor about how we lose ourselves in the pursuit of obscure goals. After all, it's impossible to
very interesting and very insightful for an 8 or 9-year-old, but awesome.
capture or grasp or
Oh, it was
know
colorful.
everything.
Okay.
So the question arose, what is worth taking note of to me? The issue at stake here is arguably the most important of all, having interests. That which is between Latin interest, the things and people and wonders of this world, and yourself. An invisible force that pulls at your most precious resource, your attention. Do I still have it? Then I allow myself to direct your attention to the like and share buttons down there, for obvious reasons. Without interests, there's nothing there to poke or stimulate our thinking. Those who have no interests might fall prey to thoughtlessness, a dark abyss from which evil can climb. For more on this, read the greatest philosopher of the 20th century, Hannah Arendt. But
Hannah
of
Arendt.
course,
I've
the
not heard of that
opposite
before.
is just as troublesome. Having too many interests, a lack of focus. Thanks to the internet, your mind is exposed to a sphere where your attention is virtually drawn to everything and anything all of the time. And as for the childish idea of an encyclopedia of everything, well, even Wikipedia doesn't dare to make this claim, I think.
Well,
so when
it shouldn't.
building your own knowledge base, don't try to capture everything there is. Don't recreate the web. It's tricky enough to capture your everything.
Yes.
That is, everything out there that's relevant to you, that resonates with you. In other words, that sparks your interests. You would hardly have ended up here if you didn't already know what your interests are, at least some of them. But still, since interests are always in motion, here are a few tips on how to keep track of them and how to maintain a certain focus on your creative journey. Keep track.
I mean, I really do keep track of my interests because I have my folders up here with things. But also, my interests are typically project based, so it's hard for me to forget what they are anyway. Because I could just see what projects I'm working on. What the hell?
Interests.
Okay.
First, make note-taking
I'm
a daily
interested.
habit. A nice way to do this
Oh
in
boy.
Obsidian is to enable daily notes. That is a core plugin that you will find in capturing thoughts on a semi-daily basis. Certain patterns emerge, recurring themes and issues that your thoughts evolve around. That's neither
True.
widely surprising, nor do you have to have collected 15 years of notes already to take the next step. It's just a great habit to keep track of how things and thoughts are unfolding over time. Metaphorically speaking, keeping daily notes is like holding onto a thread to where you came from, or like that rope that you don't want to throw away. On that note,
Yeah.
also make it a habit to
Well-
always note where you come from, thought-wise. This means nothing
exactly.
more than recording the sources of your thoughts, or maybe linking to a previous note that preceded in your train of thought. What tool can be used for interests are
Okay, that was a very well put together video, and also very interesting. But I'm still lost on how to set up my knowledge base. Jesus. Okay. Damn. I mean, I didn't really expect much anyway, but I know that guy. The hell? Not personally, but anyway. Yeah, okay. So, damn. So okay, so I took notes from this video, but they weren't really like for how to set up my vault. It was more just how to capture notes and other thoughts that sparked from this video. That video. Damn it. So yeah, literally no closer to figuring out how to actually make a knowledge base. Okay, the question I have mainly is how do I make wiki style atomic notes? So let me ask Claude and see what it has to say. A Zettelkasten has the idea of atomic notes where each note only contains one main thought. My question is, how can I apply atomic notes to a knowledge-based system instead? That is, a system that is based on facts and understanding instead of thoughts. How do I make a fact atomic but still useful for revision? For instance, if I'm wanting to revise for a class test. That is the question. In the meantime,
I love learning languages. I live for that.
that's quiet.
I love learning languages.
Me
I
too.
live for that moment when I see someone's eyes light up because I've said a phrase in their native language. And
Yeah, I said like hello, and I don't speak Chinese in Chinese, you know. 我不会说中国 No, 我不会说中文我不会说中文 And they're like, I could tell. Exactly. I want to get better at speaking other languages, honestly.
And apparently, I'm not the only one. Many of you love learning languages too. So in
Yay!
this video, I'm going to talk about different ways that I learn a language using a variety of tools,
Wait, 30 days.
including Obsidian, and specifically how I recently learned Swedish from scratch in 30 days. For many people,
What is considered learning from? I mean, like, obviously, you know, like it's you'd be skeptical. Like, I learned Swedish in 30 days. It's like, did you really though? But even if it's not like, you know, I am now a fluent native speaker, it would still put you in like a really. I feel like these kind of like things, like obviously they don't make you fluent. Well, they might not. Maybe it does, but let's assume that even if it doesn't, right? It would still put you in a better position than if you had just started out as a beginner, which I think is interesting. Why is this invisible? No, who cares?
the goal of language learning is obvious. It's to become fluent in that language. But I think that's a little like starting a new job in a new field and immediately planning to be the CEO. Why don't you try it a little bit first and see if you even like the job?
True.
I think that that's really daunting, and for that reason, I like to set a smaller, more specific, and concrete goal. For my Swedish challenge, I just wanted to be able to introduce myself in Swedish and talk a bit about who I
Is she Dutch? Hold on. Senior developer. Oh my gosh, she's a programmer. And you know, I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised, guys. I've said it like I've said it in so many different videos at this point, but like the correlation between people who like programming and people who like linguistics, it's high, and it's not coincidence. It's not coincidence, okay? Languages, bro, languages. Yeah, she lives in well, okay, between Portugal and the Netherlands. Okay, I just ask because first of all, Vam stands out to me, but also because if you know Dutch, you would probably have an easier time learning Swedish anyway. Um, he says as a monolingual English-speaking beta, whose English is only so useful in learning other languages because no languages are really closely related to English. Man, I gotta like, I have a blog, but I just don't really like how it looks. Like, I think her blog, yeah, her blog is part of her website. I want to make it like that. So what's Grafana? Doesn't matter. Right. Anyway,
am, why I'm learning Swedish, and what I was doing in Stockholm. Because I had a work trip scheduled for 1 week. I was going to be in Stockholm, Sweden, with my work colleagues, whom I've been working with some for over a year and that had never met in person. COVID, you know. But I wanted to be able to just say a few phrases about myself in their native
oh,
language. So it was a very specific, concrete goal
yeah,
that I ended up achieving.
yeah, okay, okay.
When I learn a language, I also like to think about what are some activities I can do in that language that
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna save this for later because this is completely unrelated to what I was doing. I was just curious how the notes would look, but this might be deeper than that. So let's not do that. I love other words, by the way. Shout out other words. So okay. The thing is, I can't like move forward with my Obsidian stuff until I have a system for keeping track of just information. So let's see what Claude says. I legit forgot I even asked it a question. Great question. The atomic notes principle still applies, but you shift the units from thought to claim or fact link. The core reframe. Instead of one fault per note, think one falsifiable claim per note, something you could be right or wrong about. This maps perfectly to revision where you need to recall and verify specific knowledge. What makes a fact atomic but useful? A fact becomes atomic when it's self-contained enough to test, but it stays useful when whoa, so close. A fact becomes atomic when it's self-contained enough to test, but it stays useful when it includes the minimum context needed to understand why it's true. The formula is roughly claim plus context plus connection. The claim is the fact itself, stated precisely. For example, depth first search uses a stack, and breadth first search uses a queue. Oh, there's not two different notes. Okay. Context. One sentence on why or when it matters, and the connection links to related notes. The why behind the claim, the consequences of it, and its contrasting facts. So, for a concrete example, what? What's this? Too broad, too bare, atomic. Okay, so graph traversal algorithms. Okay, so before this, the system I had would be like graph traversal algorithms, and then I'll just explain everything to do with graph traversal algorithms in there. Yo, this glare is cool. As long as it doesn't blind my camera. Then there's DFS uses a stack. That's too bare apparently. And then atomic is that depth first search uses a stack because it needs to backtrack. So that's the title. Depth first search pushes nodes onto a stack and backtracks when it hits a dead end. This makes it memory efficient for deep graphs, but risks getting stuck in infinite branches without a visited set. And then C, BFS uses a queue, recursion is implicit, DFS, graph cycle detection. Okay, it's not really atomic though. Like depth first search pushes nodes onto a stack and backtracks when it hits a dead end. Therefore, it's memory efficient for deep graphs, but risks getting stuck in infinite branches. Like these are like three things where it's like depth first search, how it works, that it's memory efficient, and that it gets stuck in infinite loops. So like I wonder, could these be separate notes in of themselves? Or should I make molecule notes? Where each of these are also their own notes, but then I combine them as well, like not combine them, but like on top of having them separate, I also create a molecule note that combines this into one fact. So I have 1, 2, 3 as separate notes, and plus an additional combination of 1, 2, and 3. So I am restating information, but it's in a format that is different. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know at all actually. That sounds very hard to define. Why does DFS use a stack rather than a queue? What's the time complexity of merge sort and why? That's fine. But like this already begs the question. Well. Okay. My concern with the... Okay, let me just try that again. My concern with the example you gave is that it seems to include at least 3 atomic facts. Firstly, that DFS pushes nodes onto a stack. Secondly, that it is memory efficient. And that thirdly, it risks getting stuck in infinite branches. All of these seem like different atomic facts that I could have as separate notes. But in that case, how do I decide when to merge them into one note? Or should I keep them separate? And if I do keep them separate, how do I manage that? I love speech to text. Oh, okay. Okay, so for atomicity, right? Atomicity. For atomicity, what matters is how small can it be and still be useful. That makes a bit more sense. So DFS risks infinite loops without a visited set. DFS is memory efficient for deep graphs, and DFS uses a stack. The mechanism and its consequences. By the way, I was not aware that, like, I've never thought of DFS as a stack or a queue. First in, first out. Huh. Yeah, for some reason I never like really thought of it that way. Which is interesting. When to merge versus split. So merge when the facts are meaningful together. Split when the facts have different revision to context. Like different exam questions. That's true, right? A structure note. Ooh, this is very interesting. Because with this kind of system, I kind of can merge it with my Zettelkasten. But okay. Birds flying across my thing, my window. Okay. I mean, I guess let's just try and see where I get with it. I already have Zettelkasten notes on matrices, so I'll go from there. Or like I'll start there. So we got atoms, maps, right? For maps, I think it'd actually be kind of cool if I have if I have my thoughts. Well, if I have my knowledge notes and my thought notes as both linking to a map, because like maybe like if my topic is depth first search, maybe there are facts about it, but I also have thoughts about it, right? So then the map can just link to that. But the main difference between a thought note and a knowledge note will be the formatting and the layout. So let's open our matrices note like this, right? A matrix is multiplied by a matrix multiplied by its inverse is the identity matrix. So these are my two topics, right? But like, what if I want to link to stuff that might also be useful? Where I is the identity matrix, and that is what this. Is this actually fine by itself? Let's see what Claude says. Or like how Claude reasons it. In that case, do I even need to treat these knowledge notes as separate from my Zettelkasten? How do I get Zettelkasten? Is that a different word in German? Oh. What? Damn, maybe I shouldn't separate them then. And that what I have here is actually fine. Let's have a look at my graph real quick and see what we got so far. Effective collaboration requires a well understood common goal. A submatrix removes a row and column from a matrix. Like those are two very different statements. But like the question is like, how do I have like a note that's like how to use a tool, right? Okay, what about a knowledge note along the lines of use this command to do this action in GNU debugger. Like that's like one of the examples that really caught me. That's a different beast. A cheat sheet. Cheat sheets are actually pretty useful. I might make a cheat sheet folder under my reminders then. Okay. In that case, I'm going to continue trying to make knowledge notes in my Zettelkasten and see what that does. But this I'm keeping the thing where atomicity isn't how small it can be in terms of like content, not content, but like thought, but just a usefulness. So let's go back to my conventions. Atoms, unlike commentaries, are independent of sources and can be understood in isolation. They are atomic, meaning each note only focuses on one idea. Yep. So each note only focuses on one idea. Or as few as is useful. Yeah, or the minimum, I should say, or the minimum for it to be useful in isolation. So if I click on a random note here, LLMs are great for static analysis of code. Large language models are very well suited for static analysis of code since they are of course good at parsing language and may become essential to programming in the near future for covering the weaknesses of compilers, since compilers can only do so much correctness / proof checking themselves, right? Like this thing, compilers can only do so much correctness / proof checking themselves. This is technically another note in of itself, right? Compilers can only do so much correctness of themselves. But I don't feel like this is useful enough to turn into its own note. So I'll just keep it there. Okay. That changes how I look at it. It makes you feel a bit better about it. So before I end this video then and go cook dinner, let's just see if I can do anything with this then. So Obsidian is based on Instagram review, would be cool to use. I've used it. I do think it makes sense that even if I have my Zettelkasten, blah blah blah. I think I actually have a note about atomics, right? Yeah. So as if I with the word atomic, an atomic note, like a Zettel and Zettelkasten, should focus on one thought. This opens up the note for more connection with other notes in a similar way. It's how oxygen be separated. Okay, whatever. However, in practice, this really means focusing on as few thoughts as are on a minimum of thoughts such that they are useful in isolation, such that the note is useful in isolation. Useful in bold there is useful in isolation. This way, I'm not expanding or I'm not creating notes that don't really need to exist by themselves at all, assuming they are only useful in relation to some other idea. Plus, down the line, I may want to change. I may find that something I didn't think was useful before suddenly is useful. And then all I have to do is make that what do is link from the existing notes that mentioned that thought and create a note from there. Yeah. So atomic notes focus on as few thoughts as is useful. And then let me check the linked mentions. Okay, so that's my rules. Cool. Ooh, come back. No, come back. Come back. No. What happened? Restore. No. It just closed the backlinks. Damn it. Okay, they're here. Okay, so they all get added back, which is annoying, but it should be fine because I'm not gonna look at these anyway. Right. It's annoying how like it auto scrolls if I click off it like that. Can I just hide this permanently from the sidebar? Editor. Core plugins. Appearance. Show backlinks visible in new tabs by default. Oh. Wait, what? Like what? So if I click on this. Oh, sick. That's great. No, yeah, that's perfect. So now I can just directly see what links to them, right? Like if I go to the bottom of here, I can see all the things that link to this. And that's a lot of notes too, as opposed to having to like click here. As opposed to having to click here. That's what I meant to say. Okay, that's cool. Don't know why I never enabled that. But can I like change this thing here? Like view settings or something? Like I could change these to choose what to show. But I don't seem to have the same option for here. Just this. I can hide it entirely, but no. I mean, yeah. Okay, well in that case, since I'm only having since I have these at the bottom, I only really need the table of contents then. So I can just kind of collapse that for now. And then it means I can have more tabs open. Right? Okay, so sorry, I was reading this. Let's see if I can get new notes from this. Like thoughts and knowledge nodes can coexist. I guess would be the thing. And then I should really have a distinction between references and sources. Sources are sources of thoughts. References are like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's cross that bridge when we actually come to the point where we have a reference that we need to be specific about. Weird how I can't scroll this all the way, but whatever. Very strange actually. Why is it doing that? I'm not sure I like this view, honestly, this card view, because like I can't move it as like properly. But it means I don't need to have tabs. Yeah, screw it. I think I'm gonna add tabs back. I've tried it, but I just don't like it. I don't like this. Appearance, inner title, Sherbin. Wait, What's the ribbon menu? Was it that? Yeah. Yeah. Custom app icon. Oh yeah, I don't have one. Um, how do I? Is it editor? General? Bro, I want to change the way that the tabs are displayed. That's it. Files and links. Appearance? Surely it's an appearance. Like, come on. Is it this? Inline title? No. I guess that's not really important, actually. Although I can't really read that anyway. So, I don't know. Bro, I'm tweaking. I can't find this thing. Keychain? What's keychain? Core plugins? Is it a plugin? Is it a plugin? No composer, outgoing links, outline, page preview, properties view, search, sync, tags view, templates, word count. Oh my days, where is this? I swear it's like a native feature. Is it a plugin? No. I'm tweaking so hard right now. Also, why can we add search to the thing? Is it here somewhere? Search to the settings, I mean. Tab style. No? Is it here? No. Oh, I can't find it. I genuinely can't figure out where it is. Your account? No, no. Dude, always focus new tabs. Source mode, that's fine. Readable line length. Okay, strict line breaks. Properties and document. I can hide them. Fold heading. Fold indents, line numbers, indentation guides. Right to left. Spell check, square brackets. Smart list, indentation using tabs. No, none of that. Files and links. New link format, updates, file extensions, confirm, excluded. No appearance. Color scheme, themes, current scheme, inline title, show bar, show ribbon, and ribbon, interface, text, space, font, font stuff, zoom, native menus, window frame style, custom app icon, hardware acceleration, CSS snippets. It's not going to be there, so there has to be a plugin. Audio recorder, backlinks, spaces, bookmarks, canvas, command palette, daily notes, file recovery, files, footnotes, format converter, graph, note, outline links, outline. Show table of contents. Okay. Page preview, properties view published, quick switcher, disabled, random note, disabled, search, slash commands, size disabled, sync, tags view, templates, unique no creator, web viewer, word count, Dude, I'm so confused right now. How do I disable this? I'm so confused. Can I... Obsidian vertical tab. I do want vertical tabs, but I don't want this like notes view. It's built in. Click the little arrow top right corner and click collapse tabs. Stack tabs. Vertical tabs plugin. That's different, isn't it? Brother. Is it here? But this is actually wasting so much time. I just want to figure out how do I change this, bro. I don't want my thing to be vertical, please. I don't see the option. I do not see the option. Am I blind? That's recent. Also, I want vertical tabs as a separate menu. I think plugin, but now it's built in. Well, it was built in then. Is it not core plugins? Vertical, no. Vertical headers, that's different. Tab, tab. No, none of these have that. Bro, please. Shrink the white space, I guess. Okay, I might actually just be stuck now. I don't know what to do. I legit have no idea what to do. Oh my god. Bugger mode. Okay, how? Where? That's an extension. Ah! Wait. Is it called stacking? Stack. Stack. There's no way. I can't find this, man. Literally, where could it be? Is it here? Why is that even a button? I can't click on it. Link with tab. What does that mean? What? Oh my god, how do I disable stacked / vertical tabs on Obsidian? Please. Via the tab bar, correct. Click the small caret arrow on the right side of your tab bar and select tabs to toggle it off. What arrow? This. How was that obvious? Oh my days. Okay, fine. We're back. Finally. Yes, I like this. Okay. Okay. And then just no. Okay. Right, we're back. Now I want vertical tabs. I want vertical tabs. So come into plugins, browse vertical tabs. That's what you want to think apparently. Screw it. Let's just try it out. I have vertical tabs for Vivaldi as well, if you couldn't tell. So you know, they're quite important to me. Vertical tabs on. Thing is, it's a separate menu. So if I want to go back to see my current notes, I have to go like here and do all that. I'd rather if it was oh, what? Can it be separate? Why does it even show me the option if I can't do it? Bro, this is actually piss-taking. Recent files? Well, those work. So why can't this be a tab? For what? I'm tweaking out right now. I'm actually tweaking out so hard. Other settings for this? Please be settings. Okay, hide sidebar tabs. Don't show sidebar tabs in vertical tabs. Like what? What's this do? Does it actually close it? Okay, well, that's great, isn't it? Use ellipses. Probably should, yeah. Auto uncollapse active group. What groups? I see. Okay, I see. Delete please. What's this? Reveal active tab. Zen mode. What's Zen mode? Just I assume it focuses on like on a group or something. I don't know. What's this? Don't know. Must be to do with groups again. Continuous view. That's cool, actually. That's very cool. Why is that not a feature? Why is that an extension feature and not a different thing? Default view, column view, mission control. That's mildly cool, I guess. Mildly cool. Except I can't scroll for some reason, but oh, okay. Must be a glitch, I don't know. Okay, default view. Close all, pin, move to right, copies internal link, browse history, and then the normal options. Okay. Show new tab button at the bottom of each tab group. Okay. Show more actions, show more control buttons in the toolbar. Like what? High sidebars. Show active tabs only. No need. Can I combine this with the other thing? What's this? So that's mission control. Oh, so I can like click on it. Okay, that makes sense. And if I stack tabs, ooh, so glitchy, horrifically glitchy actually. Okay, let's just not do that then. No. Tab zooming. Show active tab only. Auto hide horizontal tabs. Yes. But also no. But fine. Fine. Hide inactive tabs in Zen mode. What's inactive? Okay. Wait, if I hide these, it doesn't really matter, does it? Makes no difference. Enhance keyboard type switching, control 1 to 9. Enables horizontals. Okay. Tap minimum width. Navigation strategy. Show metadata in continuous view. Show backlinks in continuous view. I'm not using that. Okay. Right. So now these are my notes. Hovering should show the full name, but oh well. Okay, I like this. I can't open this sidebar anymore though. For some reason. Let's not do that then. Can I open this first and then hide it? Yes. But now it means I can't close this. But all right, I think I want to try this out. If I close all my tabs, what happens? This. Okay, makes sense. Graph view. Can I refresh graph view? Because I want to pin it, but then have it also like actually update. You can see this grow. Kind of cool. Okay. I just wish I could have this as a separate tab. I don't understand why I can't. It's really annoying. But fine. So yeah. I'm not finished yet. Sorry. I was reading this. So yes, I was thinking that knowledge nodes and thought nodes can coexist. But whatever. Don't really care about that. What's this like? Is easier to parse atomic things. Like atomic structures are more flexible. Eh. I want a smartwatch. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know. Ugh. Okay, I think that's it. A bit crazy, nothing in the end there, but I think I'm ready to move on. Like, not move on, move forward with my note taking. So let's see how that goes. Today's Thursday. I'm back in university on Monday, so I'll see how I can use my notes there. even before that, I should really be revising for my upcoming exams. So I should be taking notes in those as well. So yeah, I'll be recording my process as I go through that, and hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. I really want this to work, so I'm hopeful. Well, I am hopeful, but I'm also motivated for it to work. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.